Welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast.
Welcome to the Lobby Rats. Welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast. Yes. Where's Dom? Welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast that I'm on, and here's your hosts.
Yeah, welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast. Who do we have with us today?
My name. It's so weird. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast. I'm Larry Venturino, and here are your hosts.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about yourself?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't live in Naples, but I live nearby, and I also own a Venturino talent agency as well.
Oh, well, how long have you been a comedian?
Comedian? Almost 10 years.
What made you start being a comedian?
Let's see. No, I always loved stand-up since I was a little kid, and then over the years of growing up and life passing by and life turning out to be a disaster, you get a lot of material. You're like, maybe I should try this. So my friend and I had been writing jokes for a little while, and we're like, one of us needs to try this out. And so I went and I tried it out one night, and it actually went really well. And so I'm like, let me give this a whirl for a little while. And actually from that night on, I started getting booked regularly right from that first time. So I've been doing shows ever since. What is it? It's been 9.5, almost 10 years. Yeah,
that's great.
Nice.
Yep. All right, guys, that was Lobby Rats podcast. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Well, where are you from?
I'm from Rhode Island originally.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So yeah.
Is there a lot of comedians in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I think there's 3. No, there's a lot. So the Northeast, obviously, there's a lot of entertainment, a lot of performers, a lot of bands and comedians and everything. So, I've performed in New England and Rhode Island, stuff like that, but I didn't start my career there. I've been down in Florida for a long time. So my stand-up career started when I was already living in Florida. But I have a lot of friends that do stand-up, and there's obviously a big network of comedians in the New England area, a lot of clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who inspired you, comedically?
Comedically?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys will know this, but my biggest comedy influence it was a show called The Kids in the Hall. Oh. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Well, you need to look it up because your life is not complete until you start watching it. Whether you like it or not, you just still need to watch it to see if it's something for you. Basically, my sense of humor, I guess it was innate to some extent, but it was brought out by the show. Basically, it's a sketch comedy show that was on HBO from 1989 through 94 or 95 or something. I had 5 seasons, but it actually came back in 2022 on Amazon or Prime Video, and they did a new season, which was awesome. So there are more recent episodes, but anyway, they're my biggest comedy influences. The show is completely bizarre, very intelligent, and this crazy stuff that even when it was brought to network television, it went from HBO, they brought it on, I believe it was ABC or CBS. They tried it out, but it got, back in the day, it got taken off almost immediately because it just was not the time for that to be on television. Now you can do anything on television, and they were way ahead of their time and stuff. So, so check it out.
Will do, yeah, for sure.
You ever thought about moving into that different side of comedy where it goes to more of a TV show type thing, like guys who will go on big events and instead of just local or not local but stay in a specific region, right? You know what I mean?
What do you mean I heard 2 questions in there. So so you my comedy developing into a TV show or
something like that, or maybe featuring on something like SNL or
Yeah, I know. Well, SNL's not really funny anymore. It was probably back in the day, but not that they're not asking me to be on the show either. But whatever, I'm not good enough for that. But anyway, I think even my performance, it's not straight stand-up comedy anyway. It is, but then I do some different variety during my set, which I think is a little bit different than the typical comics out there. And I think it lends itself to doing like more online, like social media content, and then also hopefully, some TV stuff down the line. But yeah, I'm definitely not just in this region. Like, I performed all over the country and stuff, and just trying to get out there more and more.
That's good.
And I'm hoping this podcast does it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It will. And how crucial is social media to your comedy career?
Well, you know what? I have my most successful platform has been TikTok, and I have a video that has 10 million views.
Wow.
And that means absolutely nothing. So I've had 4 people come to my shows that have seen me on TikTok, or like that found me on TikTok. So one day I did a video, actually here in Naples. I walked 2 blocks while editing it on TikTok. By the time I got back to where I was going, it had almost 9 million views. It was just like friggin' blew up, like within walking distance, like of where I shot it to where I was going. It was insane. Like everything hit correctly.
Yeah.
And so in that day or two, I gained like 74,000 followers in a day. And then TikTok squashed me for well over a year. Like I was getting videos that were like 300,000 views, 50, 25, 800,000, blah, blah, blah. Then I go to 10 million. And then for over a year, I was getting like 200 views, 1,000 views, blah, blah, blah. So it's like everything else after that, they were like, we don't want this dude to be popular on TikTok. This is not what we're looking for.
Yeah,
we need
it's that
14-year-olds
algorithm.
dancing in their room, and I wasn't doing that. So, like, that was a big deal. I thought, like, to have that many followers, and it's not a million followers, but I was getting a lot of views, way more than Instagram and Facebook and all that other stuff. But I think it's really important. Like, you need to stay active on these things. You need to put out content because not everyone around the world is seeing you live all the time, and they want to check things out. So I'm always trying to find different content that it's like quick content that people can see, something funny that I'm doing, and then as they move on to the next, like, monkey video or like a giraffe eating a squirrel or something, whatever it is. But like, so in the meantime, I hope I can make people laugh for like 15 seconds and while they move on. So I think it's important. And a lot of places, a lot of clubs and things like that, they want you to have like a social media following. They equate that to having like people drawing people to your shows. So they want somebody with like some clout, I guess, online. So, but it's tough, I mean,
100%.
100% is tough. So, yeah.
No. Talking about that too.
Yeah.
What do you think about like Matt Rife?
Matt Rife, I mean, you know what? I honestly, like, I don't fault anyone or bash anyone for being successful. He found a way to be incredibly successful, and kudos to him. I wish I could be at that level. He's not my favorite comedian in the world by about 600 million other comics, but he's incredibly successful. I'm not gonna he did something. His formula, like, basically women want to go and get ripped on by him at a live show, and that's become gigantically popular. But that's just not my style. It's not what's influenced me. That's not. But more power to him or anyone that's successful in whatever. I mean, Taylor Swift sucks. She found a way to become the biggest annoying star in the world.
Exactly.
But and so, like, I mean, I can't fault her. What am I going to say? Oh, you stop doing that? What the hell? What is that? So anyway, Matt Rife, Taylor Swift, the end.
There you go. There you go.
So, like, what would you say is your style of comedy?
Well, so I'm not like super animated on stage or anything like that. But it's, I don't know. It's kind of like a little bit of darker humor, a little bit weirder style. Sometimes the content, I believe, I'm not like overly dirty or vulgar or anything like that, but I think a lot of the innuendo that I use, if you really thought about what I was saying, it was pretty bad. But like, I don't use a lot of bad words at all. Like, depending on the show, like if I'm at a club and things are rolling and going well and there's like a lot of interaction with the crowd, sometimes I'll find myself swearing a little bit more than I normally do, but I don't my jokes don't have like curse words in them, except for like 1 or 2 a set. So like I'm not even like writing that in there for the most part. But I think a lot of the content is pretty over the top sometimes if you think about it. I mean, I do, you know, typical stuff like about my family or growing up and blah blah blah. But like some of the stuff that I write, if you really look into it, is like, oh wait a second, he just talked about that. Like it's and the innuendo, I just try to make it so it's not like completely vulgar, but like it's talking about some pretty messed up shit.
Oh yeah. Well, you have one of your jokes. It's your dog toy, sex toy joke.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? How you maybe got the idea of it?
Okay, that's cool. Like so, I actually have a joke. It's so the dog toy, sex toy game was based on a joke that I wrote that I was closing my set with. And this was a joke that I had been doing for probably 6 months. And then I was like sitting around with my friend, and I'm like, man, there's something more to this joke. Like, because he was talking about how, you know, when he's with his dog at home, like there's this one toy that he has that he can't even look at it the same way anymore because of my joke, right? And so I'm like, there's got to be something more to this that I can do. And I thought about making it into a game, like basically audience participation, bringing up someone on stage and doing that. I won't ruin the whole thing for the millions and millions of listeners for this podcast, but like the just in case they see me sometime, but like but it's a really fun game that's kind of like blown up. Like definitely has probably 5-6 million views online, and every time I perform, like if I'm doing a show, maybe it's not my best night of all time, but once I do the game, it saves my set. Like people, it's like the most memorable part of my set sometimes. So if I'm having a really good show and then I do that, it's like a home run. You know what I mean? So like, because there's ups and downs in comedy, and some nights aren't the greatest nights that you've ever had. But again, the game is so such a hit when I do it live that, you know, it really helps me out, and people remember that. And I even do versions of it online. And actually, here's another thing, like TikTok, I made another TikTok page just for the game, and I was doing it stuff like from my house, and then I would incorporate live contestants, like clips from like my live shows and stuff like that. But the ones that I would do like at home, like when I first started to do it, the first video got 2.9 million views on TikTok.
Wow.
And then it was reported, and they took it down. And this was been my problem for both of my TikToks, my regular one and the dog toy one. Is like it was a lot of times a lot of the stuff was getting censored or taken down because of the content. Now look at TikTok,
Right.
like what people are doing. I mean, I was doing stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing on TikTok, and especially an old guy like me. But like, I don't care. But and that stuff would get banned or whatever. Now look what's accepted on there.
Okay.
So all those years of me doing this, like whatever stuff on TikTok, but like now it's just like basically you can turn it on and like people are naked. So it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So don't worry, I'm not.
No, yeah, but do you think that's still just a TikTok policy problem, or is that people just maybe getting offended by what you're saying, or they're watching and they're just reporting it? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Right?
They don't tell you. Yeah.
They don't tell me, but I've had. Here's what I used to do. Like, so I would like you've been on my show, and I have the banner in the background that has the name of the game. Well, it would have that in the back, and then those videos would be taken down. So what I would do is where it says dog toy or sex toy, I would put like a dog's face over the E in sex, and so that the word wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't be taken down. But then I have all these lame videos with the freaking dog ears, like on the E or whatever. Like, and but now like everything. Now I don't even do that, and now the stuff's not taken down. So
because it's just the influence of people joining TikTok, and they see all the everything.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a lot of stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially Instagram Reels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
Those
sure.
too,
Yeah, for sure. It's like basically like OnlyFans for all ages.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Do you talk about that in your comedy, like like today's world and that type of like culture? I guess that's it.
To some extent, I guess I hit on a lot of that stuff because not like I'm not like really topical. Like, oh, you see this in the news the other day? Like, I don't do that kind of stuff. Like, but my material is based on a lot of stuff that I've experienced. Like, I was a social worker for 23 years as well, and I saw a lot of different things going on in the world and with families and kids and what people did to people, what all the messed up things. And it was like a lot of that I can draw out of those experiences and talk about, why the world is so messed up and everything like that. And the thing is, I have the stuff I've experienced, like when I was a social worker, like what happens to people, like I have to tone it down if I ever talk about it in my jokes because people wouldn't believe it. Because it's like way worse than I even talk about the things that happen in this world to people, to kids and stuff like that. So I kind of had to like tone it down because it's like, oh yeah, he's just like making shit up. But it's like, no, like it's actually way worse than what I just said. Yeah. But then at the same time, you have a place like Naples or something like that where, you do shows for certain people and everyone like, I guess the stereotype of Naples, like, oh, you can't talk about that, or like people being really uptight. And I'm always pissed off about this. Like, oh, this show has to be, you have to be cleaner in this show. You have to do, don't talk about this because the crowd, you know what? I know what all these people are doing behind closed doors.
Right.
And people are fucked up. Like, I'm fucked up too, whatever. But like, people have some nerve trying to get mad at jokes when the shit that they're doing behind their closed doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Do you involve politics in any of your jokes?
Not really. Sometimes I'll do a little bit. First of all, you talk about politics, especially nowadays, and you split the crowd in half.
Exactly.
And in Naples, you split it 90% to 10% in half. But you know what I mean? Like people, like it's just really not my style. Some people can do political humor and be and do a really good job at it, and basically make fun of everybody, stuff like that. I've had jokes here and there where I'll take a shot at somebody, but like it's really not my thing to talk a lot about politics. Sometimes like with the banter with the audience, maybe like I'll throw something in there, but it's not something like I wrote really. I have more perverted things to talk about than politics. So yeah.
There you go.
What do you think about a lot of comedians like reusing other comedians' jokes, and then like, do you think that that's what really matters, or I know it's a bit of a but like basically what I'm trying to say is that like could these comedians in theory copy other people's jokes, but depending on how they
get interaction with
how they say it, they could get a different reaction from the crowd. And then do you do that?
Well, I don't take jokes from anybody else. I mean, here's the thing about when you do comedy, everything's been talked about. You know what I mean? So the goal is to write stuff either unique to yourself, or if it's a topic that's already been discussed 5 million times throughout the years, you make it your own. You don't take someone else's bit, things like that. Now, obviously, there's stories over the years of people stealing people's jokes and stuff like that. I mean, I've even heard, I haven't ever seen it firsthand, but watch out for this person when they show up at the show because they listen to your jokes and they go do the jokes at someone else's at another show. I mean, I've heard about people doing that. I haven't really seen it firsthand. If there's a bit that that might be too close, like if I find out something might be too close to somebody else's that I didn't steal, but sometimes things come to your head and like, oh shit, like that sounds similar, then I'll stop doing it. Especially if it, but because I want my stuff to be unique. I want it to be about myself, and like it's basically my art that and I don't want anyone to take that from me. And that's why when you write comedy too, like comedy jokes are just exaggerations of the truth or reality, whatever. But if you talk about things that are about you, then no one can take those stories away from you, basically. But I don't know. That's an answer to your question.
Do you see comedy as an art?
Yeah, I think so. It's like a performing art. Yeah, but you said it was like, do you actually see it as an art? It's like you believe that? That's what it sounded like, honestly.
Okay, you see comedy as an art?
Yes. See how? Yeah. I mean, you're writing, you're performing it, because it's not just like you getting up and telling a joke. It's like, someone can get up, up and say a joke. Like I could write a joke, go up there, have like some weirdo go up there and say it some way, and it's like, oh my God. But then if you know what you're doing and you're performing it correctly and you're doing, have a good delivery and all that kind of stuff, then, it takes a while for people to learn how to do that. It's not something you just walk on stage and you're like perfect at, Yeah. So yeah, I think it's an art form. Yeah. So fuck you. Yeah. Where's Dom? He's not coming or no? Oh, okay.
Dominic could join us.
Oh, okay. That's not what he said, but anyway.
So, how are you enjoying the podcast today?
Yeah, it's good. Are you? Is everything okay? Why, you guys gonna kick me out? No. Did I make it awkward or no? No. This is fun. Yeah.
And okay, back to the podcast. Do you try to connect with all your guests?
Like at a show?
Yeah.
Or like
at a dinner party?
Show, yeah. I mean, I'm not like one that I don't really go out of my way to talk to the crowd, like in a sense of like, oh, where are you from? You know what I mean? Like some people, that's their art form, and they do that unbelievable. Like it's super funny, and they do that. It's not my style. But in the meantime, of like while I'm doing my show, like there might be interactions with certain people, and then but I think the way you deliver your show, you should be trying to bring everybody in, and then there's some people obviously that are just not into you. There's some people that love you, some people that are whatever, but you try to do your show like you have a whole room of audience members, and to like not look at them and just go like that. I mean, you try to bring them all in and have some type of connection so that that they enjoy what you're talking about, hopefully.
Well, exactly. Do you have some way of, like, do you have a strategy to ending the show with everyone laughing? Do you, like, notice who's not laughing, who's laughing, and just try to, I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah. Well, there's two ways to answer that, too. Like, first of all, yeah, you have closing bits that are supposed to be your top bits that you close your show. So if I'm not doing my game is usually my closer. When I do like my regular sets, my longer sets, that's my closer, and it usually ends with a great reaction. Otherwise, if I'm not doing the game, then I make sure that the last joke is one of my biggest jokes, so that it ends and you can say goodnight and blah blah blah. Yeah. And then you said something else, and I think I forgot.
Like, do you try to? Do you notice if someone, like when they're like not laughing, you have to bring everybody up to have enough people to close and do a good ending bit?
No, I mean, I'm not like, I've already prepared what I'm going to be doing and what I'm closing with. So depending on anything anyone's doing, this person's laughing, that one's not, whatever. Like I still have my set. The way I do my show is I have what I'm going to do that night, and no matter if that guy's laughing or not, I'm still doing this joke at the end. Now, that's the funny thing, too. When you do stand-up, it's such a mental game as well. Like, some nights, like, I remember in particular, I was in Fort Myers one time, and I was having a great show, but there was one dude that didn't laugh the entire time. It's like, yeah, the show was great, everyone laughed, except that one guy, and that's all you think about is like, why the fuck was he not laughing? Which, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter. And the thing is, it's weird because sometimes you have shows where it's not like huge laughs, and then after the show, like, oh, you were great, blah blah blah. Because some people are not just big laughers,
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell myself. But anyway, like so. But then there's some people that are just not into it, and you have to learn not to let that bother you.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
what do you feel about fighting here. We're fighting here.
Yeah,
What-
calm down, guys. Calm down, please.
What
It's awkward.
What do you feel about the people that kind of call you out in the show, or what's the word?
Hecklers?
Hecklers. What do you feel about hecklers?
I haven't been heckled very, very many times. I was called an asshole in Fort Lauderdale, I believe. Sometimes people just talk loud and they think them talking during a show is going to make it better. It actually makes it worse. So, but in that sense, like I try to turn it around on them sometimes. But I typically, like, clubs usually squash people who are calling out. You're not supposed to be doing that anyway. But hopefully you have good comebacks or something that shut them up so that it doesn't continue.
Yeah.
So, did you have a question?
Yeah. What cities would you say have had your like most and then least favorite crowds?
Oh, okay. So, that's let me think. So I'm from Rhode Island. I've had some really great shows in Rhode Island. So like Providence area. What else? Oh, I was just thinking. I had some really good shows in Los Angeles. Locally, Fort Myers is like my home club is there, and I've had some really big shows there. I love doing community theaters or like performing arts theaters. I think those are like the best audiences. And so that's why a lot of my shows, to book myself, I like to look into venues like that because I really think that those audiences are there for the art and for the show and stuff. And so they are paying attention, whereas like in a club, sometimes they're waiting for their hamburger, they're waiting for this, and they're worried about that when you're doing your setup or your punchline, and sometimes things are missed. Whereas when you go to a theater and you're performing, whether it's for like 50-seat theater or 300 or whatever, it's like people are there to see the show and they're paying attention. I mean, I've had great shows everywhere. I mean, we were just in Atlanta in November, and I was there 2 nights, Wednesday and a Thursday. The Wednesday night show, like, people hated me, and then the Thursday night show was great. Same thing with I was just, on that same tour. I was in Jacksonville. We had 2 shows on a Sunday night. The first show was probably the best show, one of the top 3 or 4 shows I've ever done in 10 years. And I did the same material in the second show, and they hated me. So I don't know what the hell happened, but whatever. So it really depends. I mean, whatever. So.
Well, I know you brought up a little bit about the Naples crowd, but
Yeah.
I saw a comedy skit on YouTube
Yeah.
about how the Naples crowd is awful, and they're just don't like anything because most of them are old. What do you feel about the Naples crowd?
No, I don't know. So I think every crowd is different. I used to go in that mindset like, oh my God, all these people are old in this show. They're not going to like me. But you know what? On any given day, you don't know. These people were younger at one time too. They might be into stuff. Like I said, there's always going to be people who think they're like righteous and they, not into like, I don't know what they're looking for. They're never happy. But for the most part, even older crowds can be very, very fun. Sometimes the younger crowds are worse. You guys suck. Your generation and a little bit older than you guys are awful. Millennials, whatever the hell you guys. You're not a millennial, are you? I don't even know.
We're Gen Z.
You're Gen Z. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't want to know what any of that stuff means. But it's like, I mean, you think about all the, what to say, what not to say in terms of like content where like most of the things that people don't want you to talk about is because of you guys. Not just the 2 of you, but like I thought like 3 other people.
It's like weird now because there's like a middle ground to it. It's weird. There's either the majority, which I like to think there's a majority, which now like Gen Z really you can say literally whatever you want.
Yeah.
We won't care.
Yeah.
And then there's a middle ground where like they'll have a more traditional view of it. Well, maybe watch it.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one, which is like extreme. It's like, you can't say that. That hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like Matt Rife. You talked about Matt Rife earlier.
Yeah.
He got in trouble for saying a joke. Like, what the
it's
hell?
stupid, yeah.
You know what? What, from some girl that wouldn't go home with him or something? Yeah.
And it all started from Will Smith. Come on, slapping a comedian.
Yeah.
Come on, he's making jokes.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, are we sure we're recording, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not even recording. I think that competition is good.
Yeah.
And who do you see as your competition?
Oh, I don't know. Like the competition is myself. This is a challenge to do this, to get up to write stuff that makes people laugh. That's how you get booked. People want to see people that they think are funny, that are going to draw people to the show. And so there's so many comedians out there. There's so many venues that you just have to bust your ass and hustle to get in there. I don't feel that this, and you know what? People think that. There's a lot of comedians who will step on your throat if they think it's going to help their career, and it's like that's not even worthwhile. You know what I mean? Right. But the thing is, I'm a bigger hustler than you, so I'm going to win because I don't do that. I don't look at it that way. My challenge. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. I do like stand up is like a challenge. So like I want my writing to be enjoyed by people. It's almost not even about them sometimes. It's like, man, like it makes me feel good that I wrote something that people liked. So it's kind of on me, not you. You know what I mean? But I know, so I feel that's a challenge. I'm not worried about some dude in Tampa that's doing stand up, whatever. I mean, if he gets a show that I don't get, whatever, that's just part of the game, you know?
You think it's more about building a long-standing reputation, or what's seen a lot now is that you'll get one thing to hit, and then that one thing will just streamline them all the way up.
I think success comes in many different ways. I'm waiting for it, whatever. But like some people like are overnight successes, or something like pops off and they make it or whatever. But I think if you're consistently funny, consistently professional, like whether people like me or not, like I show up to the shows, I'm always early. I hopefully don't act like a dick to people. Like I try to treat people with respect. I appreciate being there and given the opportunity to perform. And then I face the music after the show too. Like even if it's not my greatest show, I make sure I stand there and shake hands with everybody that came and thank them for coming to my show because I appreciate it. And so, that's 9.5, 10 years of me making sure that I'm the same person every time as I grow as a comedian and have, so that hopefully that consistency pays off at some point, hopefully soon. Yeah.
Do you see yourself, your personality as the comedy, or what you say?
Well, that's a good question. Where are your good questions? I'm just kidding. You had a good one. I'm just kidding. No, but there's a thing called finding your voice, and that takes some time. Like you do, like I said, you can't. I mean, maybe you can, but you go on stage the first time. You're not Jerry Seinfeld or Dave Chappelle or whatever. Like those guys started somewhere and built that, and at some point when they started doing stand-up, it kind of clicked about their voice, like what their comedy looked and sounded like. And that, for me, I believe, like after 2 years, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like really starting to write things that I really feel is my sense of humor. But that's all a process of like, how you write, what works on stage, how to do it differently so that like your personality comes out. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good question. But it takes a little bit of time for that process to happen. And I even think over the last couple of years I've been growing a little bit more, and I'm just not afraid to do certain bits or like or do material that like. Sometimes it's just like almost like a performing art part of it, not even like straight up jokes, just like weird shit in the middle of my set that like people weren't expecting. Because I think a comedy show has some like waves, like you want people laughing the whole time, but sometimes there's can be some ups and downs a little bit to play with emotions, and I think playing with the emotions of the show is something that I like to do. Like not everything is happy-go-lucky. Sometimes you can get a little darker and then turn that around, or like get bizarre and like people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then like that's kind of like what I like is like just kind of playing with those different emotions during the set.
Well, what's the most important part of a comedy skit to you? Is there like the middle or the closing?
Yeah.
What do you think is most important?
Well, I think you need to open strong.
Mm-hmm.
Do something that you get on stage and get laughs pretty quickly. It's a good sign if things are going to go well or not. Sometimes, but like I said, like there's ups and downs or like different emotions throughout the set. I think where you can kind of change. I don't know, just change the tempo. I don't know, whatever it is. But you need to open pretty strong. You need to be consistent throughout, and then have a strong closer as well.
Well, saying all this, do you have one show that was your favorite in your whole entire career?
Well, like I said, there's been some recently. I've had some really, really great shows that, looking back, are probably in the top 3 or 4. Probably there was a show in, I think it was like 2017. It was like sold out shows, like Fort Myers, and everything just absolutely clicked that night. Actually, that kind of happened a couple times there in the same weekend too. But like, where you just came out and like, wow, like everything you said, like hit, like really well, which doesn't always happen, for me at least, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of hard to pinpoint just one one show. But there's been so many, like really good ones that's like, yeah, I definitely have some top 3, 4, 5 shows that I'm like looking back. I'm like, yeah, that I wish that was like every night. So.
Yeah, and also talking about competition.
Mm-hmm.
So at a comedy show you have a bunch of comedians going on in order.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're in competition with them?
No, I think that's part of the whole show. Like, I think everyone brings something else to the show. Honestly, I don't like performing with certain people, and I try not to be on shows with them.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like their vibe sucks. I don't like their comedy. It's not what I'm trying to do. It's not. Sometimes you get put on shows or you're booked with people there, whatever. But nowadays, I'm really honing in on doing shows with. It's usually the people that I have a connection with, that we do a really solid show together, and we all do something different. Now, I produce and book a lot of shows myself, and if you ever pay attention to like who's on those shows, no one's ever the same style. Like, and it's not like, getting up there and like the show is like everyone's talking about this and this is the tone and blah blah blah. It's like something for everybody. Because I think that's what people want, like more of like a variety type show. I'm not saying like it has to be jugglers and all this other crap, but like a lot of my shows, like I try to have like really different comics, like so that if this crowd's not into this person, maybe they like this person, and then they'll like this one. Or like I've been told many times, like, oh, that show was really good. Everyone delivered something completely different. It wasn't the same show. Not everyone was the same. And I think a lot of times you see that people are afraid to do that because everyone wants to get up, and a lot of the shows are just, comic one, I'm talking about this, like pussy, next one, pussy, next one, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like the same shit. Like, it's like, okay,
Do you think that maybe over time or since you were a kid, maybe, for example, that obviously comedy has changed, but do you think in a way it's kind of dying due to, I guess I could say that people are becoming more sensitive to their emotions?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's dying by any stretch of the imagination. I think it definitely has changed. So there's like a couple of little things to that too. Like I work with a lot of veteran comics that have been, we're doing shows since like the 80s. And they're like, oh, shows just aren't the same as they used to be. Well, you know what? Tough shit kind of now. You know what I mean? Like things changed a little bit. I'm sorry it's not 1982. You know what I mean? Like I love the 80s too, but like it's not like things have changed a little bit. But like I know the people that I do shows with, myself and whatever, like we're not afraid to say stuff. And so maybe it's different for people who are bigger stars that they're worried about saying this to ruin their career. I hope I never get to the point where I care, because that's going to help it die if you're afraid to talk about what's important. Like, and I think you see the and I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but like newer comics, they get on stage and like, oh, I'm going to be really edgy, so I'm going to talk about Holocaust, abortion, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, oh wow, I did these edgy things. It's like who gives a shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so like they don't get it that there's more to just like trying to shock, especially like nowadays. Like I don't know if you've heard of he's a legendary comedian, Andrew Dice Clay. Well, you need to look up. You guys are so young. Holy shit!
I was thinking like George Carlin. Is that his name?
George Carlin. But Andrew Dice Clay. Well, let me talk about Andrew Dice Clay. Like, look, I mean, he was shocking during his time because he was so dirty, and blah blah blah. Now it's like everyone is like that. So he performs still, and he still draws huge crowds. He's still successful and stuff like that. But it's like, like what he was saying back then, where that was shocking, is like almost typical nowadays. It seems. So you have to be different. You're not like, you have to, your style or your material has to be different from other people. If you're going to get up there and do the same type of stuff that everyone else is doing, it's like, I mean, maybe you get shows and do whatever, but it's not going to set you apart, you know what I mean, from anybody else.
Yeah, and I do think that also, in a way, may make it more difficult now. Obviously, in part of obviously all this technology, maybe it's easier, but in actual comedy, it's difficult to create that stuff because today's crowd, you know, there's a limit to edginess. You know, you can't just say something super edgy and then get a laugh from everybody. I mean,
I don't know, but
there's not. I'm not saying there's a limit as in like you shouldn't crowd. But like I'm saying that like I feel that a lot of people won't laugh at just being edgy anymore. Like, have,
it
like
needs to
some sort of uniqueness.
I mean, you should try to write something smart. I don't know. I did a show one time. I mean, people just, I don't know. For instance, like I'm not like a genius by any, like I'm not like writing like incredibly intelligent blah blah blah, but like I try to write stuff that is somewhat thought provoking, or like that you have to think about it for like more than a second sometimes. And so like if you're going to do something edgy, like I said earlier, if you think about what I'm talking about, some of the stuff is probably pretty bad, but like if you say it in a certain way, like hopefully it's like written in a way that's kind of like cool to listen to. I don't know.
But do you think as future goes on and everyone becomes a little, I mean both sides becomes a little more crazy about things, and cancel culture definitely takes a bit of a big step, do you think it'll be the downfall of some comedy or a lot of comedy?
I don't know. Do you think that that's where we're headed or what? Because I think people are fucking sick of hearing shit. But I think people are sick of all the complaints. I think see, who are the loudest people? The people that are complaining are the loudest, but they're not the majority.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know why in our society we give a shit about a couple people here and there that complain about everything you do. Sorry if I'm boring you, but like it's definitely the best one, best podcast.
But my standpoint is I'm saying, you know, everybody's getting older, and when people get older, some people, I mean, kids are gonna get influenced by the wrong things. That's why I'm saying it's gonna grow, and then more people aren't gonna like it, and then it's gonna be a little bit of people right now, but maybe in 10 years, 20 years, it'll be 50-50, and it's gonna be
maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, the first thing is don't go to college, drop out of school, because school, what they're teaching sucks. And you know, what have you learned at school so far? You don't have to say it, but you haven't learned like what my generation or whatever learned in school, and everything's being twisted around or whatever, and you just got to make your own way and just, you know, be a good person and think for yourself and not be told what to think. And so and then maybe if kids aren't told what to think, maybe they have a thought for their own, and maybe they still agree with these other people, but at least it's genuine and not just like going along with the crowd.
Be your own person, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a word for it. I forgot.
Yeah,
it's like thinking for yourself. It's
maybe it's in one of these books. Yeah.
But it's like that's it's right what you say. Like they don't teach students to think for themselves, to find their own conclusions through their own. But instead, oh well, look at this and trust this guy. That's right.
Yeah, it's true. And then you're thought to believe a certain thing, and then you go to a comedy club and you're supposed to go there to laugh and blah blah blah. And now you're getting pissed off because your 11th grade teacher told you a few years ago that you shouldn't make fun of this or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
it's not everybody's human, and in theory with your free will you can think any which way you want.
Yeah.
But there's I think obviously there should be morals, and people should have certain values.
Yeah.
But there's also a limit to that control.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they're surpassing that.
Yeah.
That line to where people are feeling that they're of course being censored.
Yeah. Or
not being able to say, like in comedy clubs, for example, not being able to complete a joke because they're worried that this crowd might fight back.
Yeah. But I say whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't go to Chicago.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. I mean, you can make a change, but it's pretty hard to make a change with the growing future. Let's get out of this rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
I have a question about how important is relations and just in general for your career?
Sexual relations? What are you talking about?
More friendship,
Friendship,
friendships and business partners.
Okay, well, I've always I played in bands. Like I used to sing in punk bands. I co-own a record company. I do stand-up, stuff like that, and all those times, so like all those different aspects of my life, I've always tried to keep a smaller circle because I don't trust many people anyway. But I don't think you need. You can be friendly and friends with this person, or having acquaintances and be cordial with everybody. But it's not, but my closer relationships are who I trust and like who I run things by for my comedy or whatever. That's a very, very small group of people, and they know who they are. Like there's, I'm not telling everyone like, oh, hey, is this joke funny? Like I don't give a shit what that person thinks. Like, but there's people close to me that are like, hey, I'm working on this. Like, what do you think about that? And like I have friends that'll say, like my little close things, like my friend Kevin, he'll say, I didn't laugh once. That sucked. And it's like, I'm like, damn, really? Because like him and I are like on the same wavelength. Like we have the same sense of humor. So I take what I'm like, he goes, try it, but like I don't think it's funny. And I'm like, damn, like okay, but thank you for like I want people in my life to tell me that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't grow in this world because they have people patting them on the back saying, oh, you did great. You're a great singer. You're a great comedian. That 5 minutes of comedy you've been doing for the last 7 years and haven't changed one joke, that's still really funny. You know what I mean? Like that people, you don't grow as a person, So I try to keep people around me who, kind of encourage you to like, are not afraid to tell you what's up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be patted on the back, so. Yeah.
That's good.
Keeping it real, 100%.
Yeah, keeping it real. That's right, dog. We are keeping it real in Naples right now.
Yeah.
In this beautiful clubhouse, in a $500 million clubhouse and neighborhood. Yeah, we're keeping it real.
Yeah, we keep it 100%
real. Do you think that, and again, this is out of my curiosity, do you feel that he doesn't find he didn't find your humor funny because he has the same type of humor? Maybe not that, but like since you guys think the same way about it, you don't find it that funny. But since other people may have different views on comedy, then
yeah, maybe. But it's like if when I'm in a writing process and I'm like, it's like I'll try most things anyway. If I really feel like, oh, I think there's something there, like I'll try it despite maybe what he says sometimes. But like I'm not just saying, I'm just giving you an example of times where someone would say, give me their honest opinion, is what I'm saying. So like. but then they'll tell me, like, he might tell me why, like, oh yeah, like, and then it kind of, oh yeah, like, that didn't make sense about that or whatever. So you kind of like, you know, I'm talking about it. It's like, instead of him saying, yeah, that's awesome, this huge show you have on Saturday night, do that joke first. You know what I mean? He's like, and then you fucking like bomb and like whatever. But I just want honest people around me, that, and it's not at the end of the day, it's like up to me if I want to do the joke or not. It's just like, my point is just like
advice.
Like surround yourself with people who are honest about what they feel instead of bullshitters. So,
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it real, dog.
Keeping it real in Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
Is that not another podcast? Isn't it called Keeping It Real?
Maybe. I think people have said that before.
Yeah.
Over time.
Well, what do you think about podcasts in general?
I don't listen to many.
You listen to ours now.
Yeah, I've listened to yours. Yeah, for sure. There's not a lot of people like for instance, like people are like really into, like, I love what you guys are doing. First of all, you guys are doing something. You're talking about something a little bit different. It's like a different angle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And and so you're kind of just trying to bring that out, what's going on. So I respect that. I think that's good. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan is like a huge star and blah, blah, but I don't give a shit what he thinks about politics. I don't give a shit what he thinks about anything.
100%.
Right.
Keeping it real, right? So, no, but like, but he, I'm not trying to slight him, but like, I have other things to do during the day than listen to like Joe Rogan give me advice. Like, I don't need his advice. You know what I mean? He doesn't live my life, like, you know what I mean? Like, like, he doesn't have to worry about the things I have to worry about, and I don't really give a shit what he thinks. I mean, I'm not just picking out him in general. There's other people too. But if there's something like maybe generally like funny or interesting, then I'll listen, or something that's different. But I mean, a lot of them there's a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them are a dime a dozen. But so again, setting yourself up with something a little bit different than other people do is what's going to set you apart from other people.
Exactly.
Right.
So
it's like finding a niche, like in comedy too, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what would you? I know you said you wouldn't. Well, anyway, if you have any advice or tips for young comedians, what would you say to them?
Yeah, just keep it real. Write about stuff that's happened to you. Write stuff about that's happening to you. Like I said, that can't be taken from you. So make it sincere and about your life, and just be patient with the process. Don't try. Like, one thing I see is that like people start out and then like next thing you know, oh, I'm headlining this club. Like, really? Like, you just started, like, or like headlining this one place or whatever it is, and it's like it's a process. And if you try to, it's not that it's like a rank, but it's like, if you're here and you're telling people you're here, you might get into a club, you might get booked to perform at this, like a headliner or like a feature in a show. But if you're only here, these people are not gonna let you back, because if you're not at that level, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're telling people you're at a level that you're not, and it's only going to hurt you, because they're going to remember there's so many comics out. This guy said he could do this. We gave him a shot, and he was terrible. He said he was a headliner. Well, that stuff takes time. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's what my advice is. Don't try to climb too quickly. Make sure your foundation is solid, and then you keep on building from that and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
100%.
Kind of find your style. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Oh, cool. Well, this was a Lobby Rats podcast. Do you want to talk about yourself on the camera? Say, like, give yourself some information. Give your information.
Shout out. This camera. No,
this.
That one all the time.
Yeah. This is your camera.
No, like, I'm Larry Venturino. You can follow me at Larry Venturino on all social media stuff. But also, I own Venturino Talent Agency. If you go to VenturinoTalent.com. So if you're looking for comedians or other variety acts like magicians, hypnotists, ventriloquists, all that kind of stuff that you want to book for your venue or your private community or a private show, blah, 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 I can help book that. I book nationally touring acts all over the country. And I've been booking bands and comedians for 25 years, and you guys are not even 18. And so I have a vast network of people that I can book for different events, so I can also help with that. And then also hope you follow my stuff and come to one of my upcoming shows. But I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of course.
He only yawned twice. That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan's a little tired.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little joke before we end the show?
No, not at all. But seriously, so Dom is not coming to this, is what you're saying. Give you a little joke. Don't ask me.
There would have been a lot of
Yeah,
jokes.
this is like the Tonight Show. Okay, go over there and start go, hey, so anyway. Yeah.
Pan the camera over.
Check out my website. There's tons of bits and stuff like that from shows. You can look at jokes on your own time.
Thank you to JBR Air Conditioning for sponsoring this video. It's the Lobby Rats podcast.
Yeah, I wonder why it was cool in here.